All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. Great to have you checking in today, guys. Happy to see you. My name's Aaron, and if you appreciate our daily crypto content, do me a favor, hit the like button. You're going to like this video, and it does help us grow as a channel. And let's get into it, because today we're talking about the news. Now, I actually pulled only 4 articles today, so this is not going to be a long video, but I think each one of these articles, they're very important and very telling to us as investors. But why did I just pick these 4? Well, if we take a quick look at the market, we see the doldrums. Not much has been happening other than we've been sinking just a little bit by little bit. And even in the past few days, we're down from where we were months ago, obviously, but even in the past week or the past few days, just a few days ago, Bitcoin was sitting around 6,800. Now Bitcoin is at 6,200. Ethereum, just a few days ago, was sitting at just under $500. Now one Ethereum is worth $430. Ripple, XRP, I remember a few days ago, they were sitting at just under 50 cents. Now Ripple XRP is at 43 cents. Litecoin, $77. Stellar, 18 cents. Cardano, 12 cents. Basically, everything is a buy right now. If you have invested in the past few weeks on what you believe are great long-term holds, you probably will be rewarded by the end of this year, or especially in the coming years. So I'm not here today to give you good buying opportunities. We do that all the time here at Altcoin Daily, and I know many of you, if you've been subscribed to our channel, definitely have taken out good core positions in whatever cryptos you believe in. We all want to make some money. But with a market like this, it can sometimes be kind of hard to, it can be easy to get discouraged. Because if you're like me, you probably bought back in at Bitcoin probably around, when it dipped down to 10,000 and maybe again at around 8,000. And then in the past week or two, and Bitcoin's been hovering around 6,000. And now that we've bought back in and what many believe is to be near the low, we're like, when is this bull run going to happen? So that's exactly the reason why I pulled these 4 articles, because I still believe at the end of this year, and especially in the next 5 years, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is going to go on to see greater all-time highs, probably many more times. I think the market cap can hit not only 1 trillion, but many trillions in the next few years. And that is why these 4 articles, I think, corroborate my feelings. They are green flags in the market as far as I'm concerned. Don't get discouraged, and we're going to start right here. 3 reasons why Bitcoin ETF could happen next month. All right, so do you guys know about Bitcoin ETF? I'm not going to bore you guys. I'm not going to get too technical. All you need to know is that ETF, they tried to get these approved early in 2017. They didn't go through. If they go through this year, that's going to be a huge green flag for big money. Not people who spend, $10,000 or $50,000, people who spend millions and billions of dollars investing if the ETFs get approved. And they didn't get approved last year, but a lot has changed since then. So let's go over why they could possibly get approved this next month. And the first reason, number 1, since last year, Bitcoin's price has exploded. Most people in the Bitcoin space didn't have high hopes for approval when the Winklevoss twins Bitcoin ETF was rejected last year, March 2017. That's just what I was talking about. So what followed last year after the rejection was a drop in price that spiked up to an all-time high. Back then, the all-time high was $1,350, and then it dipped back under $1,000, which that dip was a monster move at the time. Now, since then, just a year later, today the price sits at over $6,000. It's 6 times greater and almost 20 times greater at its peak in December of 2017. Meanwhile, the market cap of Bitcoin is still over 100 billion. Certainly no small chunk of change that regulators can't ignore for long. So the first thing they're saying, what's different, is Bitcoin, even though we're seeing all-time lows, not all-time lows, but close to yearly lows right now, still Bitcoin is highly more popular than it was just about a year ago. The number 2 reason why ETFs could get approved is custodial services. This is something we've been talking about. Traditional investors have mostly refrained from cryptocurrencies, largely because they are investors, not treasure-clutching hodlers. Okay. Luckily, custodial services are now becoming a thing for institutional investors, with Coinbase and the Swiss stock exchange being some of the recent big names who will now offer custodial services for their clients. We covered this. We saw Coinbase opening up Coinbase custody. Then this is basically infrastructure for big money to get into the market. These custodial service, this is how big money feels good and safe, investing in Bitcoin, because they don't have to worry about, storing and, holding on to their own Bitcoins. They can do it through a custody service. And then the number 3 reason why we could see the ETFs get approved by next month is regulatory clarity, something that people have been talking about since we first started this channel, and definitely before that too. Regulatory clarity. One major reason for last year's rejection was that Bitcoin markets were unregulated. Based on the record before it, the Commission believes that the significant markets for Bitcoin are unregulated, it explained. But later that year, Bitcoin futures began trading as big investment banks such as Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan started dipping their toes into cryptocurrency. Last month, the SEC itself provided further clarity when it announced that Bitcoin, Ether, and other decentralized cryptocurrencies will not be classified as securities. Meanwhile, the IRS has even launched an international effort to catch tax evaders who use cryptocurrency. So more clear regulations have definitely been, proposed and accepted since last year, and we're moving towards more and more clear regulations. So with these 3 things combined, we could easily see ETFs being approved next month. And if that happens, that is a big green flag for millions and millions of new money to move into the market, which will definitely cause a bull run to happen, in my opinion. So the tentative date for the SEC's decision on whether the ETFs get approved is Friday, August 10th. It's through a 45-day extension is possible, and this means that a decision should be expected no later than September 24th. What do you guys think about this? Obviously, ETFs, it's a nuanced issue. If you have any other thoughts, I'd love to hear them. Make sure you comment, and let's move on. Next article, I thought this was pretty interesting. Expert bets $8.5 million that Bitcoin will reach $280,000. They're basically betting that Bitcoin by, when is it? Well, we'll read, will surpass a stock in Berkshire Hathaway. So let's find out the details on this. Though Bitcoin market price has been anything but inspiring of late, as it lingers at 70% below its all-time high, one wealthy Australian bull still believes enough to put it against Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. One of the Land Down Under's leading bookmakers, Tom Waterhouse, tweeted that a well-known crypto expert who is choosing to remain anonymous, it's probably Hugh Jackman, has requested a bet that by 2023, one Bitcoin will exceed the price of one share in Berkshire Hathaway. This well-known expert is showing a very bullish disposition, as the amount of the requested wager is 8.5 million Australian dollars, which, if it pans out, will pay off 1.2 billion Australian dollars. At the moment, Bitcoin has a lot of catching up to do, as Berkshire Hathaway currently trades at $288,000, over 45 times the amount of one Bitcoin. Price predictions, big and small. So this big crypto, Australian guy who wants to bet against Berkshire Hathaway, he's not the first to make a potentially painful wager on the future of Bitcoin. Former cybersecurity entrepreneur and crypto personality John McAfee put his manhood on the line when he publicly announced that if Bitcoin doesn't reach 500,000 by 2020, he would eat his own penis on live TV. People called the always eccentric Bitcoin bull crazy, so he doubled down and he raised it to $1 million. So we see all the time these, obviously John McAfee is one of the biggest ones, and obviously this one is pretty interesting because, what's his name? The 2 people from Berkshire Hathaway, Charlie Munger and, the other guy. He basically, here, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have both been very vocal on their distrust and their disgust of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. So that's where this bet against Berkshire Hathaway comes from. But we see this all the time, that people are betting on where they think Bitcoin is going to be in a few years. And that is very simply because these big time people, they can do the math. They can see how little people got into cryptocurrency, which caused Bitcoin to skyrocket to $20,000, less than 1% of the population. They can just do math. They can realize that if just 2%, 3%, 4% of people get interested and see the value in cryptocurrency, which there is a lot of value, that the price will have nowhere to go but up. And that's what I think too. And let's move on to the next article. I like this. Robinhood Crypto adds 2 new altcoins, and the main story is they plan to extend on offerings, so they are building up their platform. Staying in line with its namesake, Robinhood has just announced support for commission-free Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash trading on their rapidly extending crypto app. For those who are unaware, Robinhood is a feeless financial service startup that is aiming to bring the financial world to as many people as possible. In January, Robinhood unexpectedly announced a cryptocurrency service, quickly drawing the interest of millions of customers. You guys remember this. But upon the release of the platform, many were disappointed about the features it lacked, namely the lack of built-in wallet and support for too few cryptos. However, Thursday's announcements adds 2 new cryptos to the trading lineup, which now exactly mirror the Coinbase 4. All right. Cryptocurrency experts have begun to acknowledge Robinhood's growing presence, with some noting that Coinbase should be wary of what Robinhood can bring to the table. Robinhood may still be a few years away from overtaking Coinbase, but many are rooting for the success of the fintech startup, as its success will not only help to increase widespread cryptocurrency adoption. Yes, its success will increase widespread cryptocurrency adoption. Interesting stuff. I haven't used Robinhood, but I have been talking to some people who do use it, and they say it's okay. And if they're trying to compete with Coinbase, that's very interesting because it's going to be Robinhood, it's going to be Coinbase, and there's plenty of others that in the next couple years we're going to see how easy it is for regular people and also for big money to get into cryptocurrency. All right, guys, let's finish this up with the last article. It's just a pretty interesting prediction. We were talking about predictions earlier, and this is a very bullish one. Bitcoin to be worth 100 million per coin by 2030. Okay, 2030. That's in 12 years. Oftentimes we don't see predictions for so far in the future, but let's read a little bit. Those are the sentiments held by leading cryptocurrency philosopher Daniel K., who believes the cryptocurrency will be worth 100 million by 2030. Hyper-Bitcoinization. So hyper-Bitcoinization is a state in which Bitcoin is expected to become the world's dominant form of money, which Dan K. believes in. According to Mr. K, no currency has what it takes to stand in the way of Bitcoin world domination given the expected mass adoption. Any currency that tries to stand in the way should lose value as Bitcoin supplants it. The cost of rejecting Bitcoin should exceed the cost of adopting it as more people start to use the cryptocurrency. The digital currency is expected to begin assuming money's traditional roles helped by widespread adoption and acceptance. Institutional and government support should go a long way in accelerating adoption of the cryptocurrency to the mainstream sector, a feat expected to strengthen its value. So not a whole lot of facts in this article. I guess basically the main thing is the prediction. We don't often see predictions for this far in the future. And I don't know, 100 million for one Bitcoin one day, I think it's definitely possible. A lot, I don't like predicting that far in the future. That's it for the video today, guys. If you found value, give it a like. If you want to stick around, I'm going to talk just very quickly about my basic strategy going forward with cryptocurrency. All right, so like I said, when I was investing in Bitcoin as we were falling down. I invested in 10K, I invested at 8K, and then I invested back when it was 6K. So let me tell you what my thoughts are for taking profits. Let's look at the beginning of 2017 to where we are today. If we can see a massive bull run at the end of the year, like we did at the end of 2017, I probably will be taking profits. Now, I don't know what Bitcoin will be worth then. I tell you, when Bitcoin hits 20K again, I don't know, I'm probably not going to take profits. When it hits 30K, that's when I'm going to consider taking profits. When it hits 40K, I will definitely be taking profits. But really, you got to play it by ear, and that's one of the advantages of either subscribing to a channel that watches the market every day or just watching the market every day, because what you have to look for, or at least what I'm going to be looking for, and you guys know this, I'm not a financial expert, so I could be dead wrong, but what I'm going to be looking for is when I can notice a market being overbought. So obviously the bull run in 2017, it started, when was it? In the middle of 2017, right back here in May is when Bitcoin was around $1,500, and then for the next several months just kept going up and up and up. So even when Bitcoin went from $1,000 to $7,000, that's what, 7 times profit basically. Probably a good time to take profits, but I don't think the market was really overbought back then. I mean, clearly it wasn't. So I'm going to be waiting for when the market kind of looks like this, just a huge, huge spike. I know that's not too technical, but that's what I'm going to be doing. Let me know your guys' strategy. And that's all today. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.